how about today? That brings me to the very first Lexus production vehicle deserving of the F mark. It's certainly fast, as you'll see when you're able to conduct your road tests. And it absolutely conforms to the Lexus formula of car building. Well, sort of. Actually, it deviates from the usual Lexus formula in one important way. Rather than being the product of a carefully plotted and approved corporate plan, this car is the best in the tradition of factory-based hot rods. And the result is an effort by a Skunk Works team, populated by a group of, well, our rogue engineers. They developed their own vision for a Lexus performance car, a carefully planned and engineered vehicle that was not part of our carefully planned corporate program. They developed this vehicle while endorsing the Lexus MUS, which is a rigorous set of development standards. And we added a couple of additional MUS, the sort of MUS that you might expect hardcore enthusiasts would enjoy. Must be balanced, must be authentic, and most importantly, it must haul ass. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the all-new 2008 Lexus ISF. So what do you think? The ISF is based on our proven rear-wheel drive Lexus IS, so it begins life with what we think is an excellent foundation. But as good as the standard IS is, our performance engineers weren't satisfied. So they developed a performance-tuned 5-liter, 400 horsepower V8 engine with more than 350 foot-pounds of torque that's topped with specially engineered heads and fed by a 2-stage intake manifold. This is the fire breather our guys carefully inserted into the IS platform, and it certainly makes me smile just thinking of it. But it gets better. Because you got to put all of that power to the ground, the world's first 8-speed direct sport shift transmission has been developed. In keeping with the demands of today's market, the ISF has a unique gearbox with an advanced manual mode. A pair of paddle shifters are located within a fingertips reach of the steering wheel that give the driver full control to make ultra-fast upshifts and gear changes. The gear changes come within 1/10 of a second. Also new is a torque converter lockup control has been developed. This new design allows for a very crisp and direct gear change. The constant lockup of the torque converter is available in 2nd through 8th gear. And the torque converter also allows for a great launchability for fast standing start acceleration. Downshifts, meanwhile, are accompanied by an incredibly precise throttle blips to match the engine RPMs to the vehicle speed. And for all that high-speed driving, the all-new ISF is equipped with an engine oil cooler and transmission fluid cooler, as well as a cylinder head scavenging oil pump for high G-force driving. With a 0 to 60 time of less than 4.9 seconds, what stops must go. So for brakes, we went with the very best we could find, Brembo. Designed to Lexus specification, the brakes consist of huge 14.2-inch cross-drilled front disc gripped by a rigid and powerful 6-piston aluminum calipers, and the 13.6-inch rear cross-drilled discs that use 2-piston calipers. Then we dropped in high-friction brake pads. We were so excited that we ended up putting our names on the calipers. The size of those brake discs should provide a clue about the ISF's wheel size. The wheels are custom designed and again built to our specifications by BBS. They're standard 19-inch forged alloy wheels clad with fat, sticky, high-performance sport tires that cling to the pavement like paint clings to the wall. To extract the most from the wheel and tire combination and to make the most of the power and flexibility of the ISF's engine and transmission combination, the already excellent IS suspension was modified in a way that makes this car ready for track days, with a full inch lower than the standard IS. The shocks, the springs, the roll bars, the bushing, even the steering tuning was designed exclusively for the F model. In addition to all those modifications, an all-new 3-mode version of our Vehicle Dynamic Integrated Management System has been developed, or VDIM as we call it. In the sport mode, the VDIM system allows the driver to push the car even further before the safety features kick in of traction control and other safety features. But if you really want to test your talent, you can turn the VDI off completely. The result of this car is more grip, more responsiveness, and more driver feedback and more agility than anything that we've ever produced. And with all this attention to performance, we didn't forget that the car should make a visual impact, something that differentiates it from the standard IS. To that end, we provided it with dual exhaust and quad tailpipes that produce that wonderful aggressive exhaust note that you would expect out of a big V8. The ISF features wider front fenders, a grille, and a rear deck spoiler. We even had to redesign to make a larger hood and a lower intake just to fit the engine and be able to cool it. All this is wrapped around a new interior that offers specially shaped and trimmed seats that hold the driver comfortably and securely in place. I mentioned a little bit earlier how the ISF came about in the most unusual way for a Lexus vehicle. You know, industry history shows that some of the best cars wouldn't have existed if they followed company development rules. The original Pontiac GTO and the first Corvette were examples of cars that would never have been developed if somebody didn't break the rules and champion the car itself. I'd like to take a moment and introduce you to our chief rule breaker, the person most responsible for the development of the all-new ISF, our chief engineer, Yukihiko Yaguchi. Yaguchi-san. Yaguchi-san did not want to simply build an IS 500. That would have been too easy. He wanted to create a true performance sedan in a uniquely Lexus way, and frankly, I believe he did it. So the ISF takes F to a whole new meaning for the Lexus lineup by becoming our performance mark all of its own. Think of the F no longer as a mere letter code, but as our exclamation point. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what our next F-mark car may be, and hopefully you won't have to wait too long or look too far for that announcement. You can expect to see the new ISF in dealer showrooms around this time next year, but you'll have to get in line behind me for the first test drive. Thank you for joining us today, and now it's my pleasure to turn the stage back over to Irv.
Great job, Bob. Great job. Thank you, Bob. Please, everybody, make sure that you grab a press kit on the way out. There will be copies of Bob's remarks available as well on both vehicles. And both the ISF and LFA will be on display later on this afternoon in the Lexus product booth, so be sure to visit. At this time, I'd like to ask the photojournalists, give them a second, let them come up and get their shots, and then I'll invite everybody to come up and take a look at both products. So come on up, guys, gals.